Welcome to Oculus of the Wise. Stop. Before you do anything else. Before you keep scrolling, before your brain tells you it already knows what this is, I need you to read the next sentence and feel it before you think about it. Something was set into motion the moment you stopped here, and there are forces, people, systems, and patterns in your life that have been quietly counting on you never figuring that out. This is not content. This is a reckoning. And if something in your chest just shifted when you read those words, that was not an accident. That was recognition. The part of you that has always known more than you have been given permission to say is paying attention right now. And what I am about to tell you is something that the version of you who is still playing small has been hoping you would never fully hear. Do not scroll, do not minimize whatever you came here for today. This is more important. You already know something is wrong with the story you have been told about yourself. Not everything, but enough. Enough to have spent years with that low, persistent hum in the background of your life. The feeling that there is a version of your existence that is larger, more real, more aligned with something true, and that you have been living around it instead of inside it. You have smiled in the right rooms and said the right things and done what was expected, and some part of you never stopped knowing that none of it was the actual thing. That hum is not anxiety. That hum is not ingratitude. That is a frequency. It is a signal from your original design, trying to reach through every layer of noise and conditioning and expired expectation to remind you of what you were built for before the world started editing you into something more manageable. And here is what I need you to understand before we go any further. Every person who tried to silence that signal was not wrong about you. They were afraid of you. And those are not the same thing. If this channel is new to you, and something in these first few sentences already feels like it is speaking directly to a place you have kept private, hit subscribe right now. What gets built on Oculus of the Wise is built for exactly the kind of person who just felt that, and you are going to want to be here for everything that follows. Now let us go to the part no one else is going to say to you. There has been a quiet war being waged against your becoming, not always loud, not always obvious, but consistent, patient, and designed specifically for the way your mind works. Because you were not built for the system you were handed, you were built to outgrow it. And systems do not give up the people they were built to contain without a fight. School rewarded your compliance, not your curiosity. The institutions that shaped you promoted your predictability, not your depth. The social environments you moved through applauded agreement and punished the kind of questions that make people uncomfortable in their own certainty. And you? Someone who operates from the inside out, someone who has always been able to sense the structure underneath the surface, someone whose perception runs on a frequency most people around you have never had access to. You got labeled, you got managed, you got quietly and consistently redirected back toward ordinary, because ordinary is easier to administer. But here is what they miscalculated. You cannot redirect what was divinely sourced. You can delay it, you can confuse it, you can make it doubt itself for years, but you cannot cancel what God authored. And everything they used to try to contain you, every rejection, every closed door, every voice that said you were too much or not enough, or simply wrong, every single one of those became material, became depth, became the kind of knowing that cannot be manufactured by any education or any success or any validation from any room. You did not just survive what was meant to stop you, you were being forged by it. Type 1111 in the comments if you are ready to stop interpreting your depth as your damage. Number 1, your intelligence was never learned. It was carried in. You have never been fully impressed by what the world calls smart. Not because you are arrogant, but because some part of you has always recognized that most intelligence is borrowed, information repeated from systems designed to produce consistent answers to questions they already know how to grade. That kind of intelligence is useful, but it is not what you carry. Your mind does not collect information, it recognizes it. Things arrive in your awareness, the way a familiar song arrives. Not as new data, but as confirmation of something you were already tuned to. You arrive at conclusions before you can trace the steps. You sense the intention underneath the words, the pattern underneath the event, the consequence underneath the decision, before any of it becomes visible to the people around you. And then you spend time waiting, sometimes years, while the world catches up to what you could already see from the beginning. That is not overthinking. That is a different origin point for perception entirely, and it is not something any classroom gave you. It is something you arrived with. Number 2, the waiting you are inside of right now is not empty, it is loaded. I know the specific silence of a life that is supposed to be moving and feels like it is standing still. I know what it costs to keep believing when the evidence is thin. I know the particular exhaustion of doing the right things in the right order and still waking up in the same place, still wondering if the promise you felt in your chest was real or something your own hope invented to survive. It was real. Let me tell you exactly what is happening in the silence. Right now, in the space between where you are standing and where you are going, things are being assembled that cannot be rushed without breaking them. Conversations are happening in rooms that have your name in them that you have not been introduced to yet. Paths are being cleared of things that had to be removed before you arrived, or they would have destroyed what you were walking into. Doors are being unlocked from the inside by hands you cannot see yet. The miracle is not late, it is being precision built for exactly who you are at this specific moment. Not the version of you from 3 years ago, this one. And the reason it has not arrived yet is not because you are not enough. It is because it was designed for the version of you that required everything you have been through to become. Do not leave the waiting. This is the exact place where most people hand back everything that was always coming to them. If what I just said landed somewhere real inside you, share this video with one person in your life right now who is in the middle of something they do not have words for yet. You do not have to explain it, just send it. The message will find what it was sent to find. Number 3. The people who hurt you were also, without knowing it, preparing you. Every person who underestimated you built into you a precise and intimate understanding of what being underestimated feels like from the inside, which means you will never unconsciously do it to someone else. Every betrayal calibrated your ability to distinguish between loyalty that is real and loyalty that is conditional on you remaining easy to manage. Every rejection trained you to stand in your own knowing without requiring outside confirmation to validate it. None of it was wasted. Not one wound, not one night that would not end, not one door that shut in your face hard enough to echo. Every single piece was adding a layer of depth that success alone is completely incapable of producing. The version of you being called forward now requires everything you were given in the breaking, including the parts you would have traded away in a second if anyone had offered. Number 4. Your expansion is going to disturb people who chose comfort. That is not your problem to solve. The moment you step fully into what you were built for, some people in your current life are going to feel it as loss. Not because you changed into something wrong, because you finally stopped performing something smaller. And for people whose sense of safety depends on you staying in the role they assigned to you, your alignment is going to read as abandonment. Let me say this directly. You are not responsible for managing the discomfort that your growth creates in people who decided growth was too costly for them. You are responsible for honoring what was placed on your life before you could speak, and those two responsibilities are not always going to coexist peacefully. The people who belong to the next chapter of your story will not be threatened by who you are becoming. They will be drawn to exactly that. Type Amen if you are finished apologizing for outgrowing what was always too small to hold you. Now, let me speak to what is sitting at the back of your mind right now, because I already know it is there. The part of you that says you have been here before, that you have felt a shift coming before, that you have believed something was on its way before, and it did not arrive the way you needed it to. And now here you are again, trying to decide if this moment is different, or if you are just running the same loop in a different location. I am not going to ask you to ignore that voice. That voice earned its place. It was built from real experience by a person who survived real disappointment. But I want you to notice something. The same person who went through all of that is still here, still watching, still willing to open one more time to the possibility that something is moving after everything, still here. Most people close after the second or third blow. They make it permanent. They decide that the fact it hurt means it was not real, or that the fact it failed means it was not meant, or that the fact it took this long means it is not coming, and they spend the rest of their lives being technically safe and secretly hollow. You did not do that. You are still in the room. That is not a small thing. That is evidence of something operating in you that is stronger than your history with pain. And here is the part that matters. Your continued presence, your refusal to fully close, your willingness to be here right now in this moment is not passive. It is a signal, and signals that come from that depth do not go unheard. The doubt is allowed to be in the room with you. It just does not get to be the one making your decisions. There is a moment coming for you where everything that has confused you about your own life is going to become legible at the same time. Not slowly, all at once, like a room you have been moving through in the dark, and then the light comes on and you can finally see where every piece of furniture actually is, and you realize you were never as lost as you felt. You were navigating. You are going to understand why the thing you lost had to leave, why the path that closed had to close exactly when it did, why the version of your future you had planned was not the one that was being prepared for you. And when that understanding arrives, it is not going to carry grief. It is going to carry the kind of peace that only exists on the other side of not knowing. And it is going to feel like finally, like arriving somewhere you were always heading without being able to read the signs. That moment is not as far from you as the silence has been suggesting. Before you go, here is what I want you to do. Go to the comments right now and leave one word, not a sentence. One word that describes the season you are in at this exact moment in your life, not where you are going, not what you want, just where you are right now. Because your honesty in that comment section is going to find someone who has been sitting alone in that same word and did not know anyone else was there too. Subscribe to Oculus of the Wise if you have not already, because this channel exists for one specific kind of person. The kind that cannot be satisfied by surface answers to questions that go all the way down. The kind that has always known there was a layer beneath the layer. You already know if that is you. You felt it in the first 30 seconds and hit the like button. Not for the numbers, for the next person the algorithm is going to send this to because you did. Someone who is sitting right now in a place that feels like it has no floor and needs these exact words to remind them that what they are carrying is not a burden. It is a blueprint. You were not behind. You were not an accident. You were not forgotten in the making of the world. You were being made for something that needed exactly who you had to become before it could arrive. That is the one who was always chosen. That is you. God bless you. We will see you in the next one.